And welcome to the Pornhub Podcast episode 218. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
We're also recording this like 2 weeks early because of stuff that's going to be going on when we release this. So if any news dropped in like the last 48 hours before this showed up, we have no idea, but expect an episode soon if so.
Yeah, that would definitely never happen though. They've never released stuff immediately after we've recorded an episode that changes everything about the episode.
So on today's episode, we are doing the final send-off to building better combat patrols for 10th edition. We're totally going to run it back next edition because, I mean, it's just fun.
It is actually pretty fun. I mean, it would be great if GW just makes perfect combat patrols in 11.
Luckily or unluckily, they're keeping us well employed.
Not wrong.
So we're going to finish by fixing the final 6 factions that we haven't yet fixed this edition.
Sounds good.
All right, Eric, what's on the menu today?
Yeah, unless we've screwed up somewhere, we've got the last 6, like you said. We've got Custodes, Daemons, Khrone, Drukhari, that'll be interesting, Genestealer Cults, CSM, and Blood Angels.
Which is an interesting one to end on, actually. Like, it wasn't really on purpose when we just didn't do it, but seeing as they're the poster boys of next edition's start, it kind of worked out.
Yeah, I suppose, that is true. I was gonna say, because their combat patrol's trash, but yeah, they're the poster boys as well.
I promise you, Blood Angel players, we will not hurt you by putting that ugly Kytt in the box.
So before we get into it, I mean, we've kind of done a few of these before, but in case you're new here, the rules of engagement for actually making a decent combat patrol.
So we have to start by getting a target point value of about 500 points, which is what combat patrol was sales pitched as. We're going to, again, not just make the most stuff we can in a box. We have to make this somewhat realistic. So based off previous good combat patrols, that's about 35% off.
That's kind of like the upper end.
Yeah, there are ones that went above 40%. We'll be talking about one.
Yeah.
Even when GW made them. But we're going to stick to the more realistic high end.
We also want to make sure that it has a character optimally, not an epic hero, you know, a named character that's like a one-off.
We want repeatability, so named characters instantly tank the value of a box. We'd rather avoid it.
And since this is kind of an intro thing, getting a battle line unit seems pretty good. Quite useful, I hear, in the playing of the game.
Although GW doesn't always do that, but we're trying to make it a very safe design when we do these boxes mostly. So we are trying to include a battle line in each one. Importantly, something GW has failed at is including a centerpiece, something to draw you to want to play this faction, something to make you excited for your new box. So we will try to get a centerpiece in each one.
Yeah, particularly something that you can look at the box and be like, ooh, that's neat, that's cool, I want that. And optimally, it's not just that one model. That's not really a combo box, so try and get at least 4 units. All of these rules are like the rough guidelines. We can decide on where we need to bend the rules as needed, but that's the general outline. So let's just jump into Custodes.
All right. So I timed this perfectly. We kicked them down the road the whole edition.
There was some concern.
Because we were like, surely they're getting a refresh in Horus Heresy. And then we got the refresh in Horus Heresy, and we were like, surely GW will finally tell us they're going to keep Custodes' Horus Heresy range playable in 40k. And by some miracle, they actually said they were. It is out of character, but will take the giant win.
Yeah, I mean, it is fantastic that they actually committed to it. It took them quite a long time, and during the entire time, I was like, are they just going to get rid of them without any replacements?
Because that's what they did last edition to like all of Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, but so far, they've confirmed that Custodes refresh is going to be fine. You can use them. Hopefully, they don't go back on that word, but with the assumption that that is fully true, that does open up some potential for making a combat patrol that isn't garbage.
Yeah, and we are using that refresh for the combat patrol, importantly. We kind of wanted to target the refresh exclusively, hoping for the best case scenario where they're embracing the Horus Heresy models in 40k, and these will be the main things you're buying and not just an alt thing you could buy. So with that, targeting the new refresh models, we've got our list. We're starting with a Shield Captain, the absolutely gorgeous 10 out of 10 new model, not the Short King that we released in 40k this edition, the beautiful new Horus Heresy one.
All right. No, that makes sense. The Short King is entertaining, but
We also have 5 Custodian Guard. So this is where it gets a little weird.
Yeah.
Custodian Guards in the refresh are sold in 6s, just because Horus Heresy does like large double squad sizes, and to them it would be 3, so 6. You can only do Custodes because of their current box as 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There's not like a clean 3 or 6 breakpoint. So I'm going to guess if we're talking long term that they will likely change Custodian Guards to be a base 3-man and then a 6-man for a double up squad. So this is actually 6 Custodian Guards because that's what comes in the Horus Heresy box, but one of them is useless in 40k currently if you're building like a 5-man squad.
I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they did what they did with the Alaris Custodians, which is 2, 3, all the way to 6. Maybe they skipped 4. I don't remember, but like where it's just like, yeah, you get to choose as needed kind of thing, just so there isn't a problem of breakpoints between the different boxes and how many you have.
I love small unit sizes for Custodes to help show off how hyper elite they are meant to be. So hopefully that is a good change coming. But for now, we're saying one of the models is useless. Moving on. We're also going to add in 5 Witch Seekers or any variant of the Sisters of Silence. I like Witch Seekers because flamers are cool. Does not matter. I think they'll look coolest on the box though. And we need a centerpiece to bring this all together. And they just made the coolest new centerpiece, which is the updated Horus Heresy Contemptor Dreads. So one of those, the Galatus, the Sword and Shield one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it matters particularly which one, but one of the new updated dreadnoughts is a hell of a centerpiece.
And this is, again, not even like the craziest combo box they've ever made for Custodes. They tend to pack a ton in here just because Custodes is so cheap per point.
Yeah.
So this one worked out to $254 MSRP for these kits and 540 points as I built them for our example box. But again, there's play because the missing guard and all that. This is still pretty solid. The current box and the last box were both very good. Custodes have basically always won because they're just a cheap faction.
It is kind of hard to screw it up too much just because like they're elite, they're a cheap faction. If you just put 4 units in a box, it's probably going to be a discount, and the faction isn't that large. There aren't that many unique units to be like, oh, those are actually bad always. Like you're going to find uses for everything that's in the range. So it isn't like the previous combat patrols were particularly bad or just like absurdly good. I guess the 9th was pretty good, but like this one, it feels kind of different and I think it's pretty solid.
So again, this is like a 33% discount, very normal, good combat patrol discount. So this is what we're mainly going to be targeting.
All right, so let's take a look at Daemons. Khrone is the one that we haven't done yet.
And the reason we didn't do Khrone is because Khrone had a combat patrol last edition and it was quite good. So there wasn't much to talk about. Now it's gone. So I guess we have to reinvent it. So Khrone's a weird one because I'm basically going to be retreading here. What I came up with is a Bloodmaster and a Skull Cannon, which is a single kit. It can alternatively be the Rendmaster. Then I did 20 Bloodletters, 5 Fleshhounds, and 3 Blood Crushers. This is 565 points. It's $250.
I mean, it's pretty close to the previous one.
Yeah, this is the closest we've done to a previous one. It's literally, you take the previous box, you remove 5 Fleshhounds, and you add the Skull Cannon because they did, someone pointed this out, apparently they make a version of the Bloodmaster without the Skull Cannon for like $10 less, which is criminal. The entire Skull Cannon is a $10 upcharge.
I'm checking. I vaguely remember something like that as well.
I didn't realize they sold a Bloodmaster without being part of the Skull Cannon. I thought it was like how you do the Tzeentch characters, but this is apparently true from what's on GW's site.
It's a $13 increase.
Okay, it's $13 whole difference. So my box is actually cheaper than the box it's replacing. The real difference is like it includes a centerpiece this time instead of 5 extra dogs.
Yeah.
It looks cooler. It's slightly worse value on a technical standpoint, but like it's still just a good box. This is super uninspired, I'm aware. You could do all sorts of different stuff, but like this is basically just a sampler platter of the entire Khorne range, excluding the monsters. And then you just buy some monsters.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of one of the problems.
This is a very safe, like buy 2 boxes of this and then get a Scarbrand, get 2 Bloodthirsters, get a Demon Prince or 2. You got a whole army. That's Khorne, baby.
You have Demon's Khorne. Which, I mean, it's tough because like there aren't that many units in like this part of the range.
And again, I will go on record. The Bloodletters is the kit I think I hate the most in the entire range of everything I built across like 8 factions.
Yeah.
Or 9 factions. I built a lot of minis, guys. So yeah, I put stuff I hate in this box, but it's what we've got.
I mean, it's your battle line. And like, given that a bunch of the other stuff are like character monsters, you have to have a certain amount of your battle line. So it's good to be able to actually field your army and play. Not the most inspired box, but it is good.
Look, if they just put the last one out, I'm not going to complain. I mean, I'll complain because it's me.
Yeah, there's always something.
It's good enough. It's technically better value than what I just cooked up, so who cares?
It is always nice to be able to add a little bit of flair with a centerpiece model. I'm honestly kind of surprised you didn't go with a Bloodthirster.
I really debated it. I looked at what we did for most centerpieces we've done.
Yeah.
And I think a Bloodthirster tangos a little too well against quite a bit of it.
Kinda, yeah.
And I'd have to drop the Skull Cannon at that point, and then we get into it becomes a very different set of problems. And then I was like, the real answer then is to just do a Demon Prince instead, and that's a much better correct answer, even if it's way less cool. And it just makes it too much like what I do for a lot of the other demon ones, and it's like, nah, stick with what works.
I mean, if we were gonna do like an undivided Demon Prince, sure. But I like where this ended up for Khorne. But I think it's time. Let's do Drukhari.
I refused.
You did, which is fair.
I did, just for everybody's knowledge. When we chose to do this episode this week, I got together the final 6 factions, and I was like, well, obviously I have to do Drukhari in this list. And then I started building other combat patrols over the last 2 days, and I got to the point where I had done everyone except Drukhari because I kept procrastinating it, and I finally just texted Eric, I did the whole episode, just do Drukhari, I can't anymore.
Yeah.
I literally have written in our show notes, God, I'm depressed doing this one. Eric, do Drukhari, I can't. Please cook.
Makes sense. Drukhari is tough, even ignoring the emotional depression that Brad has to put up with.
The real problem is our last combat patrol was perfect. It was the inventor of the big combat patrol box. It was the largest box they made because it fit in 2 boats and a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was a fantastic, perfect box that is unbeatable. And really the answer is just do it again, but that's cheating.
Kinda, yeah.
They replaced it with a Homunculus Coven box, which when you say that sentence, I should be in love.
So, okay, the replacement that they have has a Homunculus, 2 Chronos Talos, whatever alt build you want to do, and 10 racks.
Yep.
It's really just missing a Grotesque.
It's missing a unit of Grotesque, which is
Well, yeah.
3 Grotesque, which is 3 whole Grotesque by GW's old shitty Finecast model.
Right, but like it's missing a unit of Grotesque. But those were sent to Legends, so rip.
Yep. And it would still be a worse box even with those there than the previous one, but it would at least be defensible.
But it would have an identity and it would make sense.
And I could honestly, if you liked Covens, I could recommend 2 of that box then, if we were talking about a hypothetical new Grotesque unit, right?
Absolutely. And again, it wouldn't have been quite as good, but it would have been really good for that part of the army.
And I do think Drukhari is another one where we could argue you make a box for every wing of the army instead of just one universal box. But only Space Marines tend to get the special treatment. Though I do think if you're cooking up Combat Patrol as a proper format next edition or whatever, then that would be how I would expand the format, is to start making more specialty boxes over the edition so that like every faction has 2 or 3 different intro boxes for what types of armies you want to play. Like a Destroyer Necron one, a Silver Tide Necron one, a Canoptic Necron one.
I'm with you, but I feel like it has to be like a rotating one to a certain point, especially for like the smaller size factions.
Yeah, we can get into the whole behind the scenes of like making deals and taking them off and putting new deals up in order to get new revenue and all that, but ignoring the business half. What did you end up cooking, Eric?
All right, so this one was tough, but I came up with 2 lists. I started off with one, and then I kind of switched over to another one that I liked more. The one I started off with was kind of just whatever. I had a Succubus.
This is going to be filled with naked feet, isn't it?
I mean, not necessarily. 10 Witches, 10 Cavalry Warriors, 5 Hellions, a Raider, and a Venom.
Okay. That's very fine vanilla. You put 10 Cabalites in the Raider, you put 5 Witches in a Venom, 5 Witches to dance around somewhere, 5 Hellions to scoot around, the Succubus leads the 5 Witches in the Venom. Okay, yeah, sure.
It's a bit high on the price. Not too crazy. I think it was like $272. So like above our technical threshold, but like not. It's close.
It's above our threshold. It's in line with the box from 9th edition.
Yeah.
Which was one of the best in the edition. edition by far. It was great. It would be one of the best of any given edition that this came out in.
Yeah, and ended up being about 500 points. I liked it close enough because it does stuff. It still got a boat, but it didn't quite feel like it had an identity I could really point to.
Yeah, it's a sampler platter type list. It's got 2 different types of battle line units.
Yeah. So I do think that one would be fine, but I kind of wanted something that had a bit more focus. So went with a succubus, 10 witches, 2 groups of 5 hellions, a ravager, and a venom.
Eric, you played into the meme.
Hey.
You don't even like feet.
Yeah, but if you look at the list, ignoring the meme, that wasn't on purpose, but
you're flanderizing yourself at this point. It's supposed to be the comment section's job.
You're not wrong, but also this is cheaper, so this does basically fit to our price point.
Yeah, okay, 263 for it. All right. And it's still 490 points. You get the Ravager, which could be a Raider if you wanted.
That's the thing is I think you go with the Ravager on this one because you don't want to be oh, you have to have your dedicated transport rules being weird.
Yeah, because the way you would have to set that up would be you declare the 10 witches in the Venom to split the unit so that then the second one could be in the Raider so the Raider doesn't explode. Yeah, don't do that. So Ravager, yep, that makes sense.
And that also you get more, you get the bigger thing, the whatever.
You get the extra half sprue or whatever that lets you build it as a tank instead of a transport. And then if you get 2 of this, which that's a lot of Hellions, but if you get 2 of this, then you would end up being able to, you can mag a Ravager into a Raider with literally 4 magnets. So you would have 2 Ravagers, 2 Raiders, 2 Venoms in your pool of things to start with. Basically a little core for a witch cult.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the question is, instead of doubling up on Hellions, is there a reason you did 10 Hellions and not a unit of 5 Hellions and a unit of 3 Reavers? Because that's all witch cult, and that gives more variety in the box.
Yes. So Reavers are quite a bit more money.
Is that it? Okay.
I think it's $20 or something close.
I didn't know that.
But also, Hellions can be taken as 10 model, and that's not a terrible idea to do. So having 2 of this box, even with 10 for each box, is very fine.
And it probably makes some bean counter happy that it's a higher number to put in the corner when you're bragging about how many models are in the box, because they love putting that on the box.
It actually, yes, was another one of those things.
This is one of the things I don't know about when it comes to the sales part for game stuff. I do wonder about the impact of model count written on box and how much it weighs on sales. If you can go 500 minis.
I mean, I think it definitely does matter because it's one of those if you have this awesome centerpiece model and then a bunch of other stuff, that sells it because it's you judge the book by the cover and you go, that's cool, I want that. But if you don't have that, then then you can be 500 minis and be yes. So I think there's a balance, but you do kind of want to be on one of those extremes.
It's something I'm always cognizant of when we design these.
Yeah.
Is that I know that GW has always tried to push for higher model count over what would be a better box, but a lower model count. And I assume that there's a sales component of this that I don't know how much weight it carries during sales.
Yeah. But there absolutely has to be, that is a thing to be thought of as designing these. I expect that there was a survey taken or a study designed to figure out number of models really does impact. But I feel I like this second list better because it has more of the focus.
Yeah, my only thing would have been maybe Reavers instead of Hellions, but if it comes down to a price thing, then yes, this is already pushing the price at 260.
It's definitely not as good as it once was.
Now just redo the 9th box. It was great.
Yeah.
What a box.
It's probably not going to happen again. Speaking of boxes that are probably not going to happen again, Genestealer Cults had a pretty crazy box at one point.
All right, we need to have the big talk here. This is definitely the one where we're comparing boxes in depth.
Yeah, Genestealer Cults particularly matters because it's an expensive army to get into.
We started this series years ago. When we started it, this was the current Genestealer box. A Magus, a Truck, 20 Neophytes, 5 Acolytes, and 5 Aberrants. 32 minis, including a centerpiece model. It was a 47% discount or something, or 45% discount discount. It was absurd.
It was crazy. It was like almost half off.
The best box GW has ever made for a faction.
But it was kind of necessary because even at that, it was like 500 and something points or something. It was like kind of crazy.
This was the most true GW got to trying to make balanced boxes, where they were like, hey, let's throw out all of our penny pinching rules and focus on this as a box for a game. And this is what Genestealers has to bring in order to match like 10 custodians.
Kind of, yeah.
So it's interesting because this is the type of box we dream of, right? I want to give this box to every faction. Maybe not in model count standpoint, but from a value standpoint. I don't care about anything but hitting about 500, 600 point area. And let's dream stuff up. Sampler platters, themed ones, etc. I could do that for the rest of time. But the problem is, everyone points out that's so unrealistic. They're doing this box that is literally a 20% discount. It is absolute ass. The characters don't even work with the units that are with them in the box. This was made by a bean counter and nobody else. Looking at you, Dark Angels, you pile of shit, piece of shit, awful fucking box.
Yes, there are some very bad combo boxes out there.
We've had some awful, awful boxes, but we've also had boxes like this that are absurdly good. And it's an important thing when talking about how like, oh my God, boxes now are so bad. Everyone points to like the same 5 true war crimes of boxes they've made. We've had wonderful ones very recently still. And to swing that, the current Genestealer box, I'm not the biggest fan of. It's nothing compared to the box it replaced. However, it's a good accent piece to the box before it, which we told you for years to buy on this show, like literally absolute 2+ years of us screaming, buy this box if you want to play Genestealer Cults, buy multiple of it. You're a fool not to, don't play Genestealer Cults after this box goes away. But they replaced it with a box that is a Jackal Alphys, 5 Jackals, an Achilles Ridge Runner, and 10 Metamorphs, which can be all built in all the hybrids.
But like, it is a great addition to the old Combat Patrol.
It is. And it is still a $269 box at MSRP, which puts it on the high end of discount still.
Yeah, kind of a bit more than our like expected, but not too far. Actually, similar price to what I was talking about with Drukhari. So like, it's pretty good. But also, how many points is it?
It's only 375 points, even being on the good end of discount still.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
To explain this, basically what I said is the current box would be as good as the old box if you added 10 neophytes in addition, which again makes it an absurd discount, but that's kind of what you have to do with these horde factions. The neophytes are $1 a point. They are AdMech $2,000 for 2,000 points bad.
Yeah, that's not optimal. And it's like, it is honestly difficult to recommend anybody like start into this army at that price point, essentially. Is like,
yeah, even if you add in the neophytes, you end up with only 440 points. The discount's insane still, but like, that's the type of thing you need to get these horde armies playable.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have to make a new one. And there could be the option of take the current box, add neophytes, done.
Just accept that it's like a crazy percent, like it kind of needs to be. Okay.
Yeah, there could be the go back to the last box and just swap the character out, or swap one of the elite units to any other elite unit. They're all about the same price and points and all that. And then, you know, slightly different flavoring, boom, we're done. Those are solid answers. If I have to start from scratch, I can't really beat the last box we had. So I want to go a thematic route. So I'm going to call on the power of Muscle Beach.
That makes sense, yeah.
So we are going to play Muscle Beach, and we are going to start with a Biophagus, which is the Science Man, an Abominant for our biggest aberrant, 10 Aberrants, which is 2 kits of it, 5 Acolyte hybrids or Metamorphs or whatever we're making them. But the Acolytes are a battle line, and we want that checkbox, so I'll say they're Acolytes.
Fair enough.
And then just a Rock Grinder as the centerpiece because that's what we've got. This works out to 595 points. Crazy good because again, Aberrants are very point heavy.
Aberrants are like the one thing in Genestealer Cults that you can be like, that works for points to price.
This is $283, which is only $14 more than the current box. It does put it to like nearly a 40% discount, but it's still well under the last box.
But it's got like, that is a hell of a theme.
Yes, and it's, if you wanted to play Muscle Beach, like buying 2 of this is a pretty good core to that. And then you probably want to go buy 40 neophytes anyway because, well, you're playing Genestealer Cults, and you're going to need a ton of those guys.
You do kind of need a good amount of those, which that's like the one downside to this box, to the old Combat Patrol. It had a bunch of neophytes. But I mean, it's one of those that like, okay, so those are what you have to go buy separately in addition to this new Combat Patrol. And like, yeah, it's going to be kind of expensive.
I think there's a real possibility with this one, though. So like every edition, every faction tends to get a little something, right? Like even if it's just a character for the edition as a C in 3 years, right?
Optimally, yeah.
I think this is quite sellable to both players and the business if this comes with the 11th edition for Genestealers, if they're not getting any type of real range expansion or anything, if they're just getting like a newer, bigger monster aberrant. Think like Skaven just got this edition, the giant rat, the Brood Terror.
Oh, yeah.
Which is exactly what I'm talking about. Like take an aberrant, monsterify it. Make it huge with a tiny, tiny walnut brain. You make that as your centerpiece instead of the Rock Grinder, which is just, you know, a generic good big vehicle. And now you have a very thematic box that's like, ooh, okay, this is Muscle Beach. And it's something that's missing in the range right now. It gives you more in that theme that people like. Well, a subset of people like, but it's a popular one.
It is a unique take on Genestealer Cult as opposed to just being like the actual literal horde.
Yeah, spamming a horde of cultists. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be honestly pretty cool. Because like the box that you dreamed up here, I like, other than the Rock Grinder.
But it's like me trying to like figure out how to get all of our rules in place. I'm min-maxing to make it work.
Yeah, and like I like the Rock Grinder, cool, awesome model, but it doesn't quite fit the theme.
But if it was coming with, here's the new, you could still call it a Brood Terror even in this, honestly.
Yeah.
But the new Brood Terror equivalent, you throw that in there, you swap the rat faces for ugly scrotum heads, and you're like, boom, bigger, cooler, aberrant. There we go. That's your addition to the army. That's put in this box first, right as they launch the faction for the edition, and you've got a pretty good box. I think it's at least in line with the current box. I don't think either of them are winners versus the last one, obviously. And I do think when we're looking at these horde armies, stuff like the Genestealer Combat Patrol is the things that should be getting made.
Yeah.
However, of course, we live in the real world and bean counters exist, and the accountants will be the second ones after the lawyers thrown into the wood chippers. But
fair, but I feel like this is a possibly realistic box. You haven't gone too far, so like there is potential still. It's always tough looking at these horde ones and like seeing, oh, they could actually really screw it up. To be unplayable, essentially.
All right, so moving on, we have a very easy one to do, which is Chaos Space Marines.
There's a lot of potential.
We could do anything.
That's honestly the hardest part, is that there's so many options to building a combat patrol.
CSM is close to the size of Space Marines as far as factions go. They have gotten a lot of love the last couple editions, huge range refresh. The army is gorgeous, to be honest, like as long as you like the aesthetic. We could do like 7 CSM boxes, and maybe that's what we do during 11th to show off, right? We treat it like Space Marines. We do like 6 different boxes over the edition for them with all the different flavors.
That could be interesting.
Alpha Legion, we just make a normal Space Marine box.
There's some fun that can be had there as well.
We can cook next edition. But for now, we just got the expansion for Iron Warriors. I have Iron Warriors. See our painting episode all about how I tricked people into painting the Iron Warriors. But because of the range expansion, I figure we go with that theme instead of like the usual fare. This also gives me an excuse to cheat to holy hell. We get to use the greatest sprue of all time, the Venom Crawler and Double Obliterator sprue. Praise be.
It's wild.
It is the cheating value sprue. They put all the good stuff on one sprue when they made that box set, so it's like the only time you don't feel like you're getting ripped off for buying a combo sprue.
That's the thing, is like combo sprues are generally like, oh, I have to get this thing in order to get, you know, this other thing that I want.
Yeah, I just want a character. It turns out that character is attached to $130 of trash. Thanks, GW.
Yeah, and like, I don't want more of that. The Venom Crawler and Obliterators is not trash. The exact opposite, in fact. It is very, very cheaty for value.
It looks so good on a box. You get a mid-size vehicle and 2 of the hugest infantry you've ever seen.
They're exciting elite infantry as well, because they got big guns and they're like, ooh, fancy.
So let's get into what the box is. Obviously, we're starting with the cheating sprue. We have a Venom Crawler as our centerpiece. piece. We've got 2 obliterators on each side of it to look badass.
Hell yeah.
We're going Iron Warriors, so we'll use a Warpsmith for our character, and plus, we've got the Venom Crawler for it, so it's nice. I did 5 Legionnaires. I honestly debated breaking the battle line rule for this one and going pure. If we were doing 6 boxes for CSM,
Yeah.
I would say, all right, Iron Warriors, skip the battle line, put 5 Havocs in here because it looks cool as hell, and this can be a slantless type ordeal because that's fine on your 6th combo box. But for now, 5 Legionnaires, just because if this is the only thing we got, that's great. Battle line unit, done.
Yeah, this is one that we probably could have bent the rules on, but whatever. The Legionnaires are...
Next edition.
Yeah.
We can be building better.
And I mean, I do like the Legionnaires, so it's not like they're like, this doesn't fit. They're still fine.
And then to round off this box, we can do absolutely anything. This is so cheating. So I did the 3 new Mutilators just because it'll look cool next to the Obliterators and the Warpsmith and the Venom Crawler, and this box is just screaming Iron Warriors craziness, right? And the funny part is, ending the list here, we have 630 points. For a whopping $229, this is barely a fucking discount. The Obliterator and Venom Sprue is cheating. I can do whatever I want. We need more sprues like this as cornerstones of factions.
Yeah, I think that's like $80, maybe $85 or something like that for the Venom Crawler and 2 Obliterators, which is awesome. Honestly, it works so well for value to put those in there as well.
And for those who are wondering if how cheating this is, to remind you, we've brought this up on past episodes where we talk about the value of boxes over the years and stuff. Turning back the clock 5 whole years, we have Start Collecting Chaos Space Marines 16 Citadel miniatures.
Yeah.
This thing had 2, what was at the time called Greater Possessed, what would now just be called Possessed. It's an illegal squad now, but they used to be standalone bigger things. 2 Obliterators, a Venom Crawler, the Master Possession, which was also the first time he was available, and that stupid staff was $80 as a bit, but we're not getting into that discussion. And 10 Legionnaires.
Yeah.
And this is the current Legionnaire kit. Everything here is currently legal, new, upgraded sprues that exist right now, with the exception of the Greater Possess, which got refactored into Possess the next edition.
And that was very cheap.
This box was $80 at the majority of local game stores anywhere in the US. The box was nothing compared to current box prices and was still a 500-point army.
Yeah, I think honestly it was less than the current price for the Venom Crawler and Obliterators.
And then they replaced it with a Combat Patrol box that cost 50% more and had 20% less points in it.
Yeah.
It was great. And now the current Combat Patrol costs literally double what this thing would cost you at your local game store.
Yeah, I mean, it is always disappointing to look at how much more expensive things have gotten.
That's right. The dollar is worth half of what it was worth 5 years ago. Wait, that's not true.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Games Workshop doesn't deal in dollars. They deal in NVIDIA stock.
It's all that VAT.
It's all that VAT shit that we don't understand as Americans.
Yeah, so I mean, the Start Collecting was really good, and the Combat Patrol that you've cooked up is kind of that, but not quite as the value.
It's a modern, more Iron Warrior slanted take on it.
But it's still pretty good value for our current expectations.
Yes. Literally, you could push this further. This is barely a discount. This is on the bad end of discounts, but it would make most people happy if they weren't focused on the discount portion. It's a great amount of points. It's a thematic looking list. It just looks fun. I think very few people would complain, other than obviously this would be damn, this is not very good value.
Why do you have 5 Legionnaires?
Because 5 is the least you can put in. You could do 10 if you want. Makes it more points.
No, I wasn't sure if that kit could be split.
You can run them as 5s. I think that kit's splittable. The only ones I think you can't split in Chaos is Thousand Suns. I think every other kit splits normally. Actually, Eric brings up a good point. I don't know if the Legionnaire kit is splittable. You might have to do 10 Legionnaires, which would make it even more points, but would make it also a better discount, so it's more in line with most boxes, most of the good ones.
And then there isn't the weird, you have min squad of your battle line thing.
Yeah, I just did it because I'm used to having to do it for Space Marines. They love doing a half squad in the combo boxes.
And I mean, if you can split it up, 5 makes sense because
you can do more variety then. But no, if you have to do 10, then we can just say it's 10 and it's a normal discount. Boom.
Yeah.
I don't know with Legionnaires. I've not actually looked at that sprue much. much. I have that sprue that I need to assemble again that's in my brother's basement, but
Either way, it works out and does kind of lead us to our last one, Blood Angels.
Blood Angels. So their current box is ass. Their last box was ass.
So the current one is a captain, 2 units of sanguinary guards, so 6 total, and 10 assault intercessors. Not necessarily like the worst, but also
The worst.
sanguinary guard.
The fact that like the captain is so milquetoast.
Yeah.
It's like literally just a captain. He's got a little bit of Blood Angel flair on him, but that's it. It's just a whole box of assault intercessors, which was the basic. Every box has this of last edition. And then 6 sanguinary guard, which was the most divisive release of the entire edition and most people's top dog for the biggest disappointment of the edition.
I'm pretty sure few actually like that kit.
Yeah, divisive. We're all pretty unanimous as a community on them.
So it's one of those that, like, if they made that kit and nailed it, like knocked it out of the park, 10 out of 10, this combat patrol would be like, it's still got 10 assault intercessors and a pretty bland captain. But like, all right, you're going to want the sanguinary guard. Ain't nobody want those sanguinary guard. Not unless you're kit bashing.
Do you think so think of it this way. I love this idea now. I want to do an episode about Kill Team as a backdoor way to make 40k kits for factions outside of Codex time. Like it's a really fun topic to cover. We'll be doing that episode at some point.
Yeah, and like they've done some really cool stuff. So we've got good examples.
But the Kill Team gets a lot of props from 40k players because one, they tend to make the most customizable multi-part kits of like or commandos and all the other beautiful ones they've made recently. But they love pairing that with upgrade sprue kits, like when they did Legionnaires or with Cabalites, Pathfinders, where they just take a kit that's like mediocre. It's a bit old. It doesn't need a full redo, but like it needs some zazz. It needs a little bit of spice. Do you think that they could do a Kill Team where they just take the current sprue for the new sanguinary guards, they add an upgrade sprue that gives them proper wings, and that's all they do the sanguinary guard have, and then they combo it with whatever their new kit is on the other side?
I don't know how those are built, but like,
Do you think they would be hailed as the second coming of Christ by the community?
if they did that, people would be like, this is awesome, but also I can't believe they had to do that.
There would be that fact, but because people see it as it's like the branding of the Kill Team launches, right? There would be the like isolation of that of like, God damn, you guys are great over there, the Kill Team.
Yeah.
That to me just makes me chuckle thinking about how they could do that and just earn infinite PR as a team.
It is an interesting aside, and I hope they do it.
It's such an easy, hilarious win they could pull off and just dunk on everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the approval process for their projects or anything like that, but it's very funny to think of.
Anyway, let's fix and make a better combat patrol.
So I had to make a box here. This box is too much value. I overdid it. However,
Okay.
I only overdid it based off what's listed on GW's website. We'll talk about it. So first we need to start off. We want a captain with jump pack. This is to represent Blood Angels.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
And they released the second version of it, like I shot called, which had the Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. I want that variant. It's the same price as the other one, and it's cool. It's new. It looks cool. Then we want a basic unit. If we have to add a battle line, let's do the Assault Intercessors. We'll just do a 5-man squad.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of boring, but like, I think it's perfectly in line.
If we have to add a battle line, it works. And in Blood Angels, we can actually paint them up as Death Company on the box, even though it's a generic kit, right? Because that's literally how you make Death Company now.
You can show it off more exciting than it kind of actually is, which is always good.
And then we want something for the captain to lead. So we'll do Assault Intercessors with jump packs. There's more thoughts on this as we finish the box here.
Okay.
Then the thing I think just gets cut when I go to get approval for this, 3 Blade Guard veterans.
Okay.
And to wrap it up, our centerpiece model, we have the Death Company Dreadnought, which is just a ballistas Dreadnought, but you paint it black and red. That's literally how you make this. But now you have a thematic box of half red, half black. You've got Death Company stuff mixed with Regal Blood Angel red stuff. And importantly, this is a great accent box to all the generic stuff that is available in the new starting edition box.
Okay.
This has no repeats. It has things that are thematically there with Vanguard vets and Assault Intercessors with jump packs, having the Jump Chaplain, who in no way looks like a chaplain still. I still stand on that one. He needs his edgelordness, who now has a captain with jump pack to also go around with a bunch of flyboys. Those all pair off well. We've got, again, more stuff that can be themed as Blood Angels in this, but also have generic datasheet equivalents equivalents that are the same models.
Right.
I really like this. However, this is 480 points.
Ooh.
And it's 281 US dollars for these kits as they're built.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Bladeguard Vets have an easy to build kit, and so do Assault Intercessors.
Okay.
That was the 9th edition starter box, had both of these as easy to builds, which I know are not valued the same. GW shits those things out and puts them in anything as freebies. We had the recent Heroes of the Imperium something or other board game bullshit that's been out of stock 45 times at Barnes & Noble.
Oh, yeah.
Where like they put what on GW's website is like $280 of models for like $40 because they just don't value these models. They're old start of edition combo box models.
I see where you're going of like, yeah, it's $281 for like the full kits, but
if we just do like the easy to build shitty versions of these that were in all the starter boxes, it shouldn't be worth that much.
yeah.
And if that's the case, then this goes back down to a very reasonable price point as far as GW gives a shit.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. This is a sales team fights you, and I think the real answer is sales team says just cut the Bladeguard Vets and you can have it, which drops us down to like 400 points, which is real bad.
Yeah, but like $220.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, no, that's the Space Marine discount that you get.
Yeah. And it'll sell like hotcakes still because Space Marine players will buy anything.
I don't think I'm a huge fan of being like, we'll put in the easy to build options.
The multi-build kit is ass though for Assault Intercessors. There's no reason not to do the easy to builds.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always just tough. I guess I've been burned down a couple times of like, this kit is worse.
You're just an orc player. You have the actual straw man come to life.
And it's like, this is like actually legitimately worse. I don't want that garbage.
If the orc ones in 11th, like if we put those together and they're good, then it should get you your trust back of like there was one miss and it was just in your faction.
It's probably fine. But yeah, that's just unlikely to happen for a Space Marine faction to get that much of a discount.
Yeah, it's very likely the actual answer is you take out the Bladeguard Vets.
Yep.
It's a mediocre value and a bad point cost, and that's the real version that you get. And it's still recommendable, at least as a one-off, for a new Blood Angel player with the new Start of Edition box.
Yeah. Honestly, it still looks kind of fun because you got the Dreadnought and you've got a bunch of jump packs.
And if you threw all of this stuff in the Armageddon box, the Space Marine half would actually be somewhat comparable to the Orc half in coolness.
Almost.
Just got to get one last shot in.
Brutal.
But anyway, that wraps up the last one for the whole edition. I think we didn't miss anybody.
I mean, if we did, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, shameless plug for comments. Also, all the other YouTube pleasantries.
And while we're doing shameless plugs, we have merch, poorhammer.com. Buy some of our stuff.
But since we've done all of these now for 10th edition, it would be very interesting to maybe do a what we dreamed up versus what we ended up getting for factions or what we will be getting in 11th for them. I'm interested in doing this series over again and maybe cooking more with factions and doing more than one box and like dreaming up if you could do multiple boxes on the shelf for different prongs of an army.
Yeah.
If you've got ideas for like doing this series again next edition, which we're doing either way, but if you've got ideas for it that you want to see, please actually tell us those in the show notes because I do want to deep dive this more. This is one of my favorite series we do just because I love game design as a business. So like I love having to balance. We've got to make a profit with we've got to make a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be real awkward when they decide to get rid of Combat Patrol.
The easiest solution, go back to start collecting boxes, but now they just cost triple what they used to.
There you go. It's like the battalion box price.
Oh.
Either way, there will be something. They will continue to have some of these intro combo box type things. Most likely, Combat Patrol will continue happening. So, like, I think we will continue to do this. But, yeah, definitely some feedback since we're at the end of this edition. We've gone through all the factions.
Hopefully, Borrelio's showing them all on screen right now for everyone we did this edition. I do think there's the nice fact that in this single episode, we had 3 power armor factions that are just man and tin can, right?
Yeah.
And all 3 of them, if you put them next to each other, look very different and clearly show different identities.
That is true. They are quite different from just like, oh, it's Space Marine and other Space Marine.
Yeah, these ones are painted red.
Right.
I think that would be a goal I have, hopefully for what we did this edition. I haven't gone back to check all of our different episodes to see like the lists all next to each other. Borrelio throwing them together at the end of this is like the first time I would see them.
I feel like we started keeping that in mind a little bit, but I don't know how well we actually did, especially earlier on.
I mean, we do this episode like every 4 to 6 months. So by the time we do the next one after the last one, we've basically forgotten what we did on it.
That's true. I could have swore that we did a similar list to the Blood Angels one.
The only one I remember is I dreamt up a Thousand Suns list and it basically ended up being the Thousand Suns Combat Patrol with like minor tweaks.
Yeah.
And it's one of the better ones that came out this edition.
There's been a couple of those, yeah, that like, oh, this is awkward.
We've had the other ones where we're like, man, it'd be great if it looked like this. And they're like, what if we made the bad box even worse?
Oh, no.
We've altered the deal. Pray we stop.
Right.
All right, but that does it for us for this episode, for this topic, for this edition. Tune in to whatever we're doing next, guys, because I have a sneaking suspicion that within 7 days of this episode coming out, we're going to have a whole lot of stuff about 11th dropping. Or it did days before this dropped, in which case, I don't know when you're seeing this.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought about that, but this episode will come out eventually.
Even if 219 comes out before 218. We've done that one before.
Oh, we have, yeah.
Anyway, until next time, everybody, see you later.
Sounds good.